Straight to my first setup. First, streaming. Many adults say that they want to go back to childhood, and children can do many things like going to somewhere they want and eat something that they want, etc. Also, also parents can protect them, but adults have like kind of uh few people that can uh protect them. And also, adults have to get a job, work, earn money, and do some hard things and etc. And children go to school to study, make friends, and etc. So, who's the main stakeholders in this debate? Main stakeholder is children and adults. Burden. We have to prove that childhood is the best year of the life. So, go straight to our first argument. Our first argument is learn social skills. Premise: adults have to do like many social works. They have absolutely no one to teach them, but children have. Mechanism: how does it work? Children usually go to school and they make friends and do other social things. However, compared to adults, they don't have the like one.
TOI.
Thank you. Don't want to fix or teach them, but children have their parents, teachers, or etc. Let's say children A did something rude to his friends.
TOI.
No, thank you. His friends and fought with him. A's parents and teachers can teach them. Why is it true? Parents and teachers will like be quite mad at him with them, and if they did something wrong, children can have opportunity to regret what they did. Why it's beneficial? Children can learn more social skills like responsibility, kindness, empathy, courage, friendship, interaction, and etc. So what is impact? If children can learn social skills and go out to the actual society, it will be
TOI.
yeah.
However, adults they can also make social relationships at companies or like go to like other places.
I'm not meaning that the that kind of social skills. I'm talking about like what they did wrong and they have to like uh regret it. And also parents are like closest one, so they can teach him with love, but others like don't actually love him, so it's like kind of different. So what is the fact? If children can learn social skills and go out to the actual society, it will be more easy to do others work stuffs and etc. So in this reasons I'm so proud to.
So, Judge, if a childhood is a practice, adulthood is in reality. So, childhood is a life ready. So, being ready for like to live as an adult. So, good afternoon, honorable judge and fellow debaters. I'm the leader of opposition of today's debate. So, as the LO of today's debate, I would like to do four things: A, context; B, rebuttal; C, argument one; and D, argument two. So, first of all, in the status quo, child are like sometimes being discriminated and also have lack of freedom and like unextended rights like compared to adults. And then like we would like to say that this debate is not about like whether like childhood can like eat what they want or etc. It's about like comparing the exclusivity of the childhood and the adulthood. So before I move on to our team's first two arguments, I like to first rebut to the previous speaker. So first of all, I like to say that they said like childhood like they can like play or like build friendship or is something they want, but however like adult like this is possible for every adult. They can also like eat something they want and play or like build friendships. So I would like to remind you that. And they're like, to rebut their arguments, they were talking about social skills. However, like first of all, adult can also make relationships at companies, and they said also like that child can learn social skills by at schools by like having friendships and like going to risk. However, like these social skills, adults can also have it too. So it's like adults, do they only work through the whole life? No, they also have friends, they play, they eat, and they may also go to a trip with the families and friends, right? So this means that adults is also able to like learn social skills. This is not the exclusivity of only the children. Now, I'd like to move on to our first argument, which is about freedom. So, just children, because they're like protected by their legal guardians, so whether it's like a parents or grandparents or etc., right? This means that these children will be dependent on their legal guardians and have limited freedom. Just when like I am like a second grader, and then like I'm living in South Korea, and I just like suddenly like tell my parents that I want to go to Europe and live there alone. Do you think your parents will allow that when you're only a second grader? No, because your parents is someone and have responsibility as a legal guardian, right? So it means that like these like child doesn't have, they have limited freedom because they're protected by their legal guardians, or also like they should sometimes follow their parents' decisions, right? However, like during adulthood, because they will be independent, right? So they will have the freedom to make decisions. And also like in South Korea, like children are like busy like studying because they need to go to university or etc. and have a job, right? So they don't have like much time to like go on a trip like as they want, or like buy things like a lot as they want, right? However, when however, like in the adulthood, because like there will be less studying than like in the childhood, so they will have less pressure that they should like only study and work during the whole life, so there will be more freedom to like go to a trip when they want or etc. And our second argument is about extended rights. So child, because like they're sometimes discriminated by people, and people think that they are not mature enough, right? However, adults, they become a social participant because like people think that they're mature enough, and then they also have responsibility as in the society. So there's like no kiss zone, right? Because like these are like the cases that the child are being discriminated and have no rights to go inside like some cafe or no kiss zone. And also like child, they're not able to vote, and they don't have like real jobs, or they don't earn real money for their lives, right? However, adults, they can do all of these things because adults have all like extended rights. So they can actually tell the world by voting what they want or not want. And they can also enjoy their life by having or earning money or having jobs, which can also be their passion. So in conclusion, we think that adulthood is much better than childhood, because adulthood, like they can have like much more freedom than childhood, and they also have extended rights. So therefore, I'm very proud to oppose.
Judge, would you like a state in which you can get protected, helped, and earn positive memories, or a state where you get stressed out, have less places to rely on? By prioritizing the childhood, we protect the children and make sure that the children can learn social skills and precious memories and more. Going straight into my reputations. Our first reputation is the argument of freedom. Even though we bite the bullet and say that the children have less and limited freedom, I think that the safety and protection from the parents is much more greater than depending on themselves and have to only earn money by themselves. You feel much more protected when there is someone behind of you and can protect you when you make mistakes, rather than you just going out and you want to live in Europe by yourselves. I don't think that that's more greater than the benefits the safety and protection provides the children. Also, their second argument was about extended rights. The opposition says that voting and other many rights that the adults have is a disadvantage for the children because they can't get it. However, this is not. There is a reason why adults can vote or adults can do other many rights that only the adults have. They're voting and they're doing other rights because they have the maturity level to doing it.
Here,
For
why?
example, no, thank you. You can't let children vote because they don't have much knowledge about politics. So they have to learn about how to do it. And this leads to making better decisions in the future. If you don't learn like politics, then you will not be able.
Here, why?
No, thank you. Then you will not be able to make correct decisions when you're voting. So that's why childhood is more important to perform these other rights like voting more efficiently. So moving on to our second argument is parental protection. Premise: children will be able to get their parents' protection and able to learn many different social skills that are needed under parents' shelter. For mechanisms, well, what does parental protection mean? Firstly, parents support the child's life. For example, they could buy clothes for them, provide food for them, and etc. And secondly, They could give an emotional shelter for the children. If they make mistakes, they don't have to worry about it like the adults because they have someone behind of you. And because of this, you can
POI.
yes.
However, like during adulthood, like adults also have their parents or like grandparents behind or like maybe friends, so they can also be protected by them.
I don't think that grandparents will be able to adult as much because they don't have much economic ability in the society because they're discriminated too, like you say that children are discriminated. And secondly, why is parental protection needed? Children can survive on their own. The children don't have to worry about surviving alone because parents can teach the children how to survive because then they will be able to perform better when they grow up. This doesn't mean that children are going to be over dependent to the parents. Parents are the ones that provide shelter as well as teaching the children social skills and how to survive on their own, not making them over dependent on themselves because that's what parents should do. And also, children are not mature yet to make every decision on their own. Parents give many precious memories, for example, throwing a big birthday party for the children or going to the beach together, etc. These memories are important because they make up who you are and how you feel in the future and how you intercept many events in the future when you grow up. Lastly, for impact, if people prioritize the childhood more, there are three layers of impacts. A, children will be able to survive on their own, not becoming dependent on their parents because they learned how to do it when they were a child. And B, children learn how to make important decisions. For example, they wouldn't be able to know how to like make a stock or anything, but when they grow up, they learn these economic skills so they could try these things on their own. And C, they will get precious memories that make up who they are and how they think. For example, many positive and bright memories help a person grow up into a positive person, but negative memories don't help a person to grow, and he could grow into a negative person. And for these reasons, I'm so proud to propose.
Let me start with a direct quote from the Prime Minister. She said that childhood is a perfect time to grow up. But why do we grow up for? To be adults. Judge, being a child doesn't mean that it will always be fun, exciting, and energetic. Being an adult doesn't mean that it will always be tiring and full of work. Today, we are here to declare our stance that adulthood is better than childhood. Good morning, fellow debaters and adjudicator. I am the DLO of today's debate, and as a deputy leader of opposition in this debate, I would like to do two things: A, the rebuttals, and B, our team's last argument. Before moving on to our team's last assertion, I would like to rebut to some of the key points brought to us by the previous speakers. The Prime Minister said that it is important for children to learn social skills. However, the motion was that childhood years are the best of life, and learning social skills, as the leader of opposition said in her POI, we can still learn them in companies and in society. And second of all, social skills, and they are learned to help kids become a good adult. Social skills learned at a young age don't give them any good things in their lives, but a preparation to become an adult. All these good social skills are used in adulthood. And thirdly, the DPM said that adulthood stresses the people out. However, it is not stressing the children out, and academies and exams stress the kids out even more in childhood and their schools. And don't adults have families? Families literally support them to stay on the right path. And are you willing for children to always stay in childhood and never grow up? Because you guys said the proposition said that being voting and those rights to become an adult aren't important, and childhood is literally for becoming adults. And if childhood, yes.
How will you be able to do correct social behavior when you grow up if you don't learn about it in a young age?
I never said that it would be bad to learn it in the childhood. I only said that the social skills, they're literally used in the adulthood. And these childhood, as I say again, this childhood is a preparation step for these children to grow up into good adults. Continuing on with my rebuttals, and if childhood is so good and free of responsibility, why is suicide happening more in childhood than adulthood? We are not talking about if voting is possible or not. It's about why adulthood is better. And you guys are totally missing our points. Now moving on to our team's last assertion. Judge, imagine a child's life. Most of their decisions are made by their parents, and most of the time they are looked down upon because they are younger. However, when you become an adult, there's no more of these discriminations and dependency anymore. You are fully independent and you are a full adult. You don't need to worry about being somebody's burden anymore, and we can make decisions by ourselves. But if you're a child, you need to depend on your parents or legal guardians because you are not old enough to do these things that you should do if you become an adult. And if you become an adult, you would be free and would be able to say things that you ask other people to say for and do the things that you couldn't do when you were underage. So here's the point. Why is there childhood if you guys are saying that adulthood is bad? Childhood, again, is a preparation step for becoming a full adult and a good adult. You can finally be independent when you become an adult and be a true adult when you grow out of this childhood. Also, children can easily be discriminated by older people. Children are young, and most of the time they are easily ignored because older people don't think that their thoughts are very important. And if a child tries to say something, they say, oh, like you are a child, you are not old enough to understand all these things that we are talking about. So I don't think that your opinion is that important. And being young can be a compass for these children because their thoughts went over unheard. Being an adult can give these children a time to grow up, and out of these discriminations are caused by age. Childhood is a time for people to grow up fully and be a full adult. And as our leader of opposition said, becoming a full adult means more freedom and rights. So proud to oppose.
I'm the whip speaker of the government side of the motion. For today, I would like to present two clashes, and before I get into that, I would like to do a few rebuttals on the other team. Firstly, they said social skills are not useful in your childhood life, but you need social skills everywhere you go. You need friends that can get through camps and get you through hard times, and you need to learn more about them. These are already social skills. You're interacting with one another. And they said that it is not useful at all when you need to make friends when you are young, although because it can help you. Friends can maybe even stay with you in the future. So it can be really useful. Secondly, they said children have more stress. But here's the thing. School might be stressful, but when you're an adult, the stakes are higher. You have the risk of losing your job. You have the risk of not even getting a job. Maybe even because of the employment rate is high, and you might not even have kids. So yes, the stakes are way higher than when you were a kid. Now I am now moving on to my clashes. The first one is about freedom. The opposition said that the adults will have more freedom because they can vote and children are more discriminated. Now, but proposition says that children must be protected, of course. But before that, let's see how much people are affected. The number of people that are affected, firstly, are the children, of course, then the stages of them in the adulthood. So, but how big of the impact? If they don't have freedom, and let's say they both don't have freedom, then the adults would probably also be mad as well. But then if the child needs parents, of course, because the parents are the ones that are responsible and no thank you, that look over them, that have full responsibility of them. Now moving on to my second clash. My second clash is about stress. They said that children have more opposition said children has more stress, but I think this is wrong because like I said, the stakes are more higher when you're adulthood. Like there are much more risks than you don't think. And firstly, the people affected are the adults and childs because if you just compare school to a job, that's
POI.
no thank you. That will be immeasurable because if the job you can actually make money, but for school you will just get expelled. Of course, of course, these are two way different things. So that is why we win these two clashes, and I'm so proud to propose.
Proposition claims while childhood looks like a cotton candy, adulthood looks like a strange dark place. Let's see how much of this claim is true, right? Okay, so as Grammar Web today, I'll do my clashes and rebuttals. But now, first going to my clashes. My clash number one is going to about like which time is better for the main stakeholders of this debate, who are going to be the children, of course, right? Children are going to be affected by this decision. So proposition claims that childhood is like free of responsibility, make relationships, and also free of stress. Okay, so now let me rebut that. Okay, so they say like children have time to learn social skills and play. Yeah, but in adulthood you can also learn social skills and you can also play. Actually, to be more exact, you don't learn social skills. You can actually adjust them in the real world, so it's even better, right? Also, you can also make friends. It's not like when you're a grown up, you like work 24 hours a day. Yeah, you work, but you can also play. Okay, so that's the bell for the POI, and also they say about time to regret. About that was their first argument. I think like yes, that's completely true for a child. But when you're an adult, you already learned everything from your childhood, so you don't need like this time to suddenly regret on everything. And also, what did our side say? Okay, so children do not have most rights adults have. However, and also children are sometimes even discriminated, overlooked because you're young and too immature. Yes, we're not. Yes, when you're an adult, you're not protected. But if you think about it, would you like Would you like to be like trapped in a room of
POI.
childhood? Yes.
How will you be able? You say that childhood is the preparation time of adulthood, but I think that whether the result preparation is more important because preparation shows the result.
Okay, so let's read the motion again, Judge. The motion clearly said that we're not talking about if child is more important or adulthood is more important. It's about which affects the child more and what can make the child actually happy, right, Judge? And then of course that wasn't really necessary. And yes, in adulthood you're not protected. But if you think about it, what would you really like? Being trapped in the room of childhood with your mommy, or at least being free of it, being free? At least we can give the child some freedom, even if you can't depend on someone. But if you have to depend on someone every day, well, if you think about it, then the adults living right now independently shouldn't really exist to their knowledge. And also, well, when we didn't say like social skills are just useless. We said that they won't be really. You don't have the need to learn them because in adulthood you already learned them from your childhood, right? And also, in what circumstances will like an adult lose all of their family and also lose their job? That doesn't really have a high likelihood. Then if you compare these two sides, then of course we win because we gave you the most exclusive benefits of adulthood, didn't we? Yeah, you might have to like pay taxes, and you might have some stakes of like losing your job and something. But if you think about it, then don't children also have to have like stress? You also have tests. You also have your mom and teachers expressions, but it's not like those Timmys always fall down on their knees and cry because of that. If and yeah. So even if you have stress, both sides still have stress. So for all these reasons, I'm very proud to oppose. From the last past 30 minutes, the government was keep talking about like whether like the childhood is good or not, or they are important or not. However, that was not the debate. This debate was not about like whether childhood is good or not, or it is not about preparation is important. It was about like comparing whether childhood or adulthood is better. So as the opposition reply of today's debate, I'd like to move on straight to the best case and worst case scenario. So let's take it from their best. Their best case was like that the child will be protected. Okay, of course, like being protected is good because it will be safe for the children. However, like first of all, adults will also have backups such as like parents, or maybe like they will make like relationships maybe they may have like family later on, then they can also be their backups, right? And also B, adults will be mature enough. They don't need to like be protected like every single time as a children, because adults and children are different, right, Judge? And then like even though in our case like maybe adults can have like risk or stress, like such as like they may like lose their job, or like they will be less protected, like as the proposition said. However, like these risks are also a part of development, and plus like students also have like stress and risks. So like first of all, they will have bunch of stress of studying or going to university, and as the government said that like when adult will lose their jobs, maybe students will be expelled from their schools. So it's the stress or the risks are the same as we uh, is the same. And then like our team like gave a lot of exclusivity of adulthood, such as like freedom or extended rights. However, like the government has no engagement, and they were just talking about their side, like just talking about like the children would be protected so they will be safer, and then like preparation and social skills are important. But just that wasn't there like this wasn't about the debate. This debate was like about like comparing the childhood and adulthood, as we were keep talking about during the whole debate, right? So therefore, we think that we should take the debate home. Thank you.
As the government side of the reply, I would like to go through why we win in this debate. First, the opponent team's case is quite unrealistic. They said that studying is much pressure than earning money, and also earning money. However, we already stated that how adults have stress like taxes and like earn more have pressure that have to earn more money, and like I don't know, buy some food and eat for family. Also, they talk about that adults have freedom to do everything, but it, it's just focusing on rich adults. Do you think 20 years old just graduate university adults can afford to go to the Europe? No. See, they don't actually concentrate to our argument. We've talked about time our argument to like regret a time to regret, but our argument was not about time to regret. And D, they are the op is still meaning our side by saying that we misunderstood the motion. However, this debate about if is the best time of the life, so we understand incorrectly. So under some reasons, I'm so proud to propose.